When will you be able to go back to Disneyland? That is the question that so many people want to know the answer to, including myself. And in today's video, we are going to go over the latest news surrounding the reopening of Disneyland, the latest guidelines put out by the California government, and what it means for the reopening of the parks. So if you've been keeping up with your Disney news, you might have noticed over the past week or so, there have been more and more signs that have pointed towards a possible reopening of Disneyland. The lights have been turned on the exterior of Disneyland and some of the indoor areas as well that you can see from a distance, something that hasn't happened in quite a long time, actually since the closure. And also they've installed some plexiglass at the ticket entrances. So all signs were pointing towards, it seems like Disneyland is going to open pretty soon. And then California Governor Gavin Newsom came out with the latest set of guidelines for reopening California, and we just don't know when Disney is going to reopen, and we don't even know where Disney falls within those guidelines. So last week, Governor Gavin Newsom outlined new COVID-19 reopening guidelines, including a 4-tier color-coded system, which represents various levels of risk and how businesses can operate depending on which color they fall into. So the 4 colors are purple, red, orange, and yellow. Purple meaning widespread, in which case most non-essential indoor businesses are closed. Substantial or red, some non-essential indoor business operations are closed. Moderate, orange, some business operations are open with some modifications. And lastly, yellow, which is mineral, and that is that most businesses are open with modifications. The governor also mentioned that to move from a purple to a red, for example, from widespread to substantial, you have to have 21 days worth of data to back that up before you can move to the next phase. And the governor did say that they are going to stick to these guidelines, and these are stringent. So what does that mean for Disneyland? On August 23rd, the city of Anaheim tweeted that the Orange County Healthcare Agency indicates that they were in day 1 off of California's monitoring list, meaning that there are signs of progress, but they cannot make any changes right away. This happened on August 23rd. In the meantime, we started to see all those things that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the lights coming back on, plexiglass being installed at the entrances of the parks, and more recently, Chairman of Parks, Experiences, and Products, Josh D'Amaro, has been out speaking with the media in terms of Disneyland being ready to reopen. D'Amaro has said that Disney is, quote, ready to reopen the parks as soon as California guidelines allow. Now, at the time of filming, the California guidelines do not allow for Disneyland to reopen, and when Gavin Newsom had his press conference giving out these new tiers, a reporter asked specifically about the theme parks, amusement parks, and actually Disney, and he said that he was meeting later that day to determine the dynamic situation that is opening of the theme parks. He did not say when that will be. He did not give any really further elaboration on that, but he did say that he will be meeting with the theme parks separately to discuss how they can possibly reopen whenever that may be. There was no date, and ever since that press conference, which it was just a few days ago, we haven't heard any news coming out of that meeting in terms of dates for reopenings of theme parks just yet. And in that interview that D'Amaro had with the Dow Report, he mentioned that Disneyland's reopening process was based on 5 key factors: health and wellness, cleaning, technology solutions, cast member training, and working together. He talked about how everybody must be wearing a face mask when in the parks, and he said that for the cleaning of the parks, that they've taken it to, quote, another level. So given all that, it'll be interesting to see if Governor Newsom comes out with a hard date as far as when theme parks can reopen. I'm sure he's assembling a task force of, D'Amaro, the representatives from Universal, Knott's Berry Farm as well, maybe out in California, to try to get them together and see what they can do if they're able to open in some capacity, I would say sometime this year, because if you look at the guidelines and you move from purple to red to orange to yellow, it takes 3 weeks to move from one category to the next. So if Orange County is considered purple, for example, right now, that's a minimum of about 3 months before they can move to the yellow category. Now, again, we don't know where Disney falls within those categories, but if they're going to be very strict with that and Disney has to, let's just say, be yellow, for example, in order to open, we might not see Disneyland open this year. I hope that's not the case, because as much as I want to go to Disneyland and it's about, having fun and all that, and I know that there's, everything that's going on in the world right now is serious, there's also a lot of people that are out of work as well. So I definitely feel for the cast members, the full-time cast members especially, that are out of work right now and just want to get back to work so that they can earn a living for their family. And speaking of those cast members, last week Disney extended the furloughs of California cast members indefinitely while Disneyland Resort is still closed. Now we'll bring you back to the East Coast, as yesterday we had some breaking news that came out about the Polynesian Village Resort saying that it will not be reopening until summer 2021. The resort is going to undergo a massive refurbishment, which includes some major retheming to the resort, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Disney's Polynesian Village Resort will remain closed until summer 2021. The Polynesian was originally supposed to reopen on August 12th, then was pushed back to October 4th, and now it is delayed until summer 2021. The resort, however, is currently open with limited operations for those staying in the DVC portion of the resort, so the Polynesian Village Resort villas and bungalows. Now, given the resort is going to remain closed until at least summer 2021, the monorail station at the Polynesian also will be closed. The monorail station at the Polynesian will be temporarily closing at the beginning of October. There's been no concrete date set just yet, so we don't know when in October it's going to be, but they did say early October, so I would expect that first week for sure. There is bus transportation available to all of the other Disney properties at the moment, except for Magic Kingdom, and then once the monorail station does close, bus transportation will be available to Magic Kingdom starting in October 2020, and of course you can always take the walkway from the Polynesian to the Magic Kingdom, and you can get there in about 10 to 12 minutes or so. Now, we mentioned a retheming of the resort, and it has been confirmed by Disney that the Polynesian is undergoing a massive retheming to Moana. The resort will be rethemed with touches of the popular animated film. Earlier this year, if you guys haven't seen, the Moana themed carpet was installed at the Ohana restaurant at the Polynesian, and this type of theming is going to continue throughout the entire resort. According to the Orlando Sentinel, a Disney World spokeswoman said changes to the rooms will include a move to a Pacific Ocean inspired color palette, as well as details, patterns, and textures inspired by the film. And thanks to WDW News Today, we have a first look at what these themed test rooms are going to look like. As you can see by the photo on your screen, there is test carpeting on the floor, which has that Moana touch to it. You can see those patterns, which look like the tattoos on Maui, and those bright greens and pinks and blues, which are so vibrant in the film. And then also, if you look up into the left corner of the picture, the lighting fixture in the hallway has that same type of Maui tattoo kind of vibe going on to it. So you can see that this is a test area to see what the rooms might possibly look like. Along with the test carpet on the floor in this photo, you can see that the door of the Polynesian room right there has been rethemed as well. It has that kind of light gray wood type of feel to it, as opposed to the little bit darker gray woods that are currently on the exterior of the room doors now. So if you are looking to stay at the Polynesian, you're gonna have to wait about a year or so before you're able to do it, unless you stay at the villas or bungalows. Now, let me know down in the comments below what you think about the retheming of the Polynesian. Personally, I really don't know how to feel about it just yet. If they stay subtle touches and it just changes to like color palettes in the rooms, things like that, nothing too crazy drastic, then I'm personally okay with it. The one thing that I am definitely concerned about is the Great Ceremonial House. I want the interior of the lobby of the Polynesian to remain the way it is now. The lobby of the Polynesian is one of my favorite lobbies in all of Walt Disney World, and it just has that tropical, Polynesian, authentic feel to it. When I step into that resort, I know exactly what I'm getting. Now, I don't want that to turn into a Moana themed lobby in any way. That's just my own personal opinion. I just want to see the Great Ceremonial House stay as it is. Another thing that'll be interesting to see is Ohana going to get rethemed? They haven't touched any of those details just yet. We don't know anything really outside of the rooms being refurbished, but it'll be interesting to see the extent of this Moana theming. Is it going to carry over into some of the dining options that are in the Polynesian, or is it strictly just going to be we're changing some colors around, changing some lighting fixtures, redoing the doors, things like that? I hope it changes like that, but let us know down in the comments below what you think about the retheming and what you think some of the changes would be. If you have some really cool ideas about what they can possibly do with the Polynesian and incorporating Moana, let us know down in the comments below as well. So if you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, make sure you give it a nice big thumbs up. It really does help us out. And if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button so that you come along with us on all of our Disney adventures. And with that being said, we'll see you guys real soon.